Well, the Energy Secretary, Ed Davey, is in Taunton. Ed Davey, 8 years ago, the average family was spending about £500 a year on its energy. Now it's spending about £1,300 on energy. And yet your department is predicting that the rise in energy bills for the average family will be £22 in the next 7 years. Are you serious?
Well, we're very worried about rising energy bills, the rises we've seen, and we do expect rises to increase. But what we're trying to do, Jeremy, is we're trying to insulate people from those rising energy bills, cushion them by driving a wedge, if you like, between global energy prices, which we have to pay for importing gas, and the bills that people have to pay. And we're doing that by increasing competition and by helping people insulate their homes more effectively. Just engage with the figure for a second.
The £22 is complete fantasy, isn't it?
No, it's not.
You seriously think our energy bills will go up by only £22 by 2020? Are you serious?
Well, if you look at our report, which we published, which was a hugely detailed report last week on bills and prices, we have a number of estimates of how the bills will go up over the next few years if we do nothing. But we're not doing nothing. We are intending to insulate and help people from these high energy prices that are coming from global prices, just as your film showed. And it's important that we use every single measure to help people struggling with high energy bills and to help businesses who are paying those high energy bills.
Last week you told the Daily Telegraph that the government had kept people's energy bills down. You've just conceded they've gone up from £500 to £1,300 in the last 8 years. Will you accept that that statement was at least wrong? You haven't kept them down.
No, because you're misquoting me. What we've said in our report, a detailed report, was that we, through our measures, have kept bills lower than they otherwise would have been. We set out very clearly in the report that bills have gone up. We're very aware of that, and we're very worried about it. And what we're trying to do through product regulations to make sure appliances are more efficient, through insulation measures, and a whole range of things that we're taking, is we're trying to prevent the bills going up higher than they otherwise would.
So people, there's no doubt. To be clear about this, people can keep their bills down providing they spend money buying new washing machines, new dishwashers, and the rest of it, and getting their homes insulated.
Now, what our
is that what you're saying?
Hold on, if you let me finish. What our figures show is that they take into account how often people replace their appliances, how often they replace their boilers, how often they replace these different machines. And over the period we're talking about, millions of households will replace a lot of these appliances.
So if they spend that money, they can keep their energy bills down.
What we're actually showing is what people are. We're not asking them to change their behaviour. We're taking clear. No, we're not. We're taking.
You want them to insulate their homes, don't you?
Jeremy. Please don't interrupt, because then I can tell you people and your viewers what our calculations actually show.
Said something that's patently not true.
Jeremy, what our calculations show is that looking at the behaviour of people as they replace their washing machines, as they replace their cookers, as they replace their fridges, as they replace their boilers, without changing their behaviour compared to what they have done in the past, people will make the savings that we show.
All right.
So these are very cautious assumptions. That they're not over-egging the pudding. They're very cautious assumptions.
Can we look at the nuclear question? We know, because you've told us, that you believe that nuclear power is unsafe, environmentally unfriendly, and is only sustainable by rigging the market and with a big public subsidy. Can you tell us then why you propose to go ahead with an extension of nuclear power?
Well, you're quoting from what I said in, I think, about 2005. And
2006, in fact.
Yeah, right, OK. Well, I certainly was of that opinion. Yeah. I've certainly looked at the safety record, and actually I've been really impressed by Britain's safety record. I've looked at the waste issue, and given that we've got to store waste safely from the first two generations of nuclear power and the military nuclear, I'm convinced that we have to do that anyway.
Right.
The real issue.
So you were talking rubbish then.
If I may finish, the real issue that concerns me now, that concerned me then, still concerns me, is making sure we get the right price. So we are in intense negotiations with EDF.
That isn't what you said at the time, as you conceded.
Well, I've considered that. Fine.
When is the
Let's
first
move on.
nuclear
Let's have the
power
debate.
station going
Let's
to
have
be
the debate
built?
now about what the price needs to be, because we need to make sure that we're not overcharging the consumer, the taxpayer, our businesses. It's absolutely vital that we have secure energy, that we have clean energy, and that we have affordable energy.
And when is the first nuclear power station to be built, please?
Well, assuming we do reach an agreement, which is value for money and affordable price with EDF, they estimate that as soon as we reach that agreement and they can start, it'll take about 7 years to build.
Could you afford not to sign an agreement with EDF?
We've got a number of options, and the whole point about our energy policy is to have as diverse and mixed an energy policy as possible. There are some people who tell me we should back just one form of energy, one type of technology. I reject that.
No, we're talking
I
nuclear
think we've
here.
got
Is
to
there
invest
anyone
in
else
all
apart
forms of
from
low carbon.
EDF?
Because if we don't invest in all forms of low carbon, we're putting our economy at risk and our energy strategy at risk. And I'm not prepared to do that, Jeremy.
So, in the pursuit of nuclear power, which you now think is a good thing, is there anyone apart from EDF you could strike a deal with to build nuclear power stations?
Yes. There are
How soon could that happen?
There are three consortia in the UK. There's the EDF one we've been talking about that is nearer striking a deal than anyone else. But we saw when Hitachi invested nearly £700 million in the Horizon project last year, that they, with an extremely good record of building nuclear power plants on time and on budget, are very keen on entering the nuclear market here in the UK. And there's a third consortium of GDF, Suez and Iberdrola in the north of England. So we have three consortia, all who want to invest serious amounts of money in new nuclear. But of course we're not putting all our eggs...
over a barrel, hasn't it? That's
No.
EDF.
Absolutely not. We have a strong negotiating hand, and I've insisted on that all through the start. You'll have to wait, I'm afraid, Jeremy. When we have struck the deal, we've committed to have the most transparent process in nuclear history, where we will publish the price, we'll publish the duration, we'll publish the terms and conditions.
But when are we
so
going to hear
Parliament
this?
and the media can do it.
When's it going to happen?
You're in negotiations, and anyone who is unwise enough to put a deadline on those negotiations gets a bad deal. I'm not prepared to do that. I've got to make sure we get the best possible deal for the country.
Before the lights go out.
And if that takes a bit longer, well, you talk about the lights going out, and your film talks about the need to make sure we've got power in the next few years. Actually, nuclear isn't critical for that, because as you rightly said, it'll take a little while to build a first new nuclear reactor. So actually, over the next few years, we're looking at major investments in renewables, and we're looking at gas taking up the slack as well as actually better use of demand, reducing our needs for using too much electricity and energy.
Okay.
So we've got a whole range of policies to make sure that we've got secure energy, and we do keep the lights on, and we will.
Okay, Davey, thanks very much.